We are currently surrounded by thunderstorms. There's one to the south and one to the east. And I'm also hearing thunder towards the north. Nothing towards the west at the moment, and that's where the storms would be coming from, so we have time. My friends, welcome to this episode of the Outdoor Review. I hope you all are doing well. We are out here at Lone Wolf Mountain for an overnight trip with a very interesting tent. A few weeks back, I started a series where I was camping in interesting tents from around the world. With that adventure, I was camping out in an Australian modern swag tent that was on a cot. That was a very interesting tent. Unfortunately, I can't say I liked it. Plus, it leaked. In this episode, we are camping out in a Japanese tent. Currently, the storms are moving away from us. The sun's coming out. Supposedly though, later on this afternoon, going into tonight, strong storms, possibly some big storms. So it will be a good test, hopefully, for our Japanese tent. Speaking of which, let's go ahead, let's set it up. Let's get this adventure underway. This, everyone, is the Snow Peak Vault tent. And as you can see here, it is gigantic. This is a Japanese camping tent, and it is quite unusual. First off, everyone, this is a tunnel tent, and it is gigantic. It is incredibly long, very wide. Unfortunately, it's not tall enough to stand up in it, but you certainly have a lot of space in here. This tent does have an inner that goes at the back, but I took it out so that I can use the shell of this tent. The thing is, everyone, it's pretty warm today. It's about 80 degrees with 100% humidity. The air is so wet. There's so much moisture in it. It's a pretty miserable feeling. So to combat that, I want airflow from the door, and from the door. Luckily, there is a breeze that's beginning to pick up, and I can feel it inside of this shelter. This, everyone, is what is going to take place in this adventure. This is basically my protection from the rain today and tonight. Then, when I'm ready for bed, I will be sleeping inside of the 4Runner. I can crack the windows, get the fans going, I'll be comfortable. With the Vault, this is more of a 4th season tent. In other words, a wintertime tent. The inner is covered in fabric. There's very little mesh. In other words, it is hot, hot, hot. Because of that and the conditions, I'll be using this tent in a way that's very similar to a tarp. This is my protection, but I'll be sleeping over here so I can stay comfortable. We still have a number of thunder cells around us. There's one to the north and one to the southeast. With that being said though, it's getting dark overhead and these clouds are rather low too. Perfect. Oh yeah. Everyone, there is a nice breeze coming through the forest here, and it feels incredible. The humidity is so high, the dew point is so high, that like as soon as I got out of the vehicle, I started to sweat. It hasn't evaporated, it hasn't dried off at all. It's just so wet out. But luckily, we do have that breeze, and it does feel good. You all might be able to see just how slow the clouds are moving. It's been like this for a number of weeks now. Storm systems, weather systems, everything's been moving very, very slowly. And that means like as soon as like a thunderstorm develops, it basically stays put and it drops a ton of rain. Unfortunately, that happened here the other day at Lone Wolf Mountain. I don't know how much rain fell, but it was enough to wash out the bottom part of the driveway. Just in case you do not know, Lone Wolf Mountain is almost 20 acres. Basically, I own a mountain here. The driveway is half a mile long. Down at the bottom, it's extremely steep. I've owned this for, I don't know, 8 years, something like that. I've never had this road wash out. I've never had the road wash out except for now. The bottom part, it's in pretty rough shape. I was able to make it up here, but there's significant rutting. Some of the ruts are about 10 inches deep. It's a problem. It's gonna take 3 or 4 days to fix the damage that was done at the bottom, but I could definitely get it done. So with the weather today, they're calling for big storms. Hopefully they're not too big, because the road down at the bottom, it can't take much more. Tell you what, I'm gonna take a look at the radar real quick. Let's see what's out there. I'm hearing a lot of thunder. Nothing that sounds imposing to me at the moment, but it's a little dark here and there. We have a ton of storms towards our south. None of those we are going to get hit by. So as it stands right now, it's dark, it's ominous looking, but we are not in danger at all. All I did here was basically make some more instant coffee. I heated up what I had already. It is way too hot, way too muggy for cowboy coffee today. I just wanted something plain and simple and easy. I am testing out a new stove system here. This is from Fire Maple. So far, so good. This is a nice kit. There is a kettle that goes along with this, along with some pots and whatnot, but I left the kettle at the house as I used it on another trip, so it's dirty. But overall, so far, so good with this cook set. Later on tonight, we'll cook on it. The wind coming through this tent is unbelievable. I set this up perfectly. I really did. This, everyone, is what makes this shelter so cool. Incredible airflow, full protection. This is pretty sweet. Even with the airflow coming inside of the tent here, it's warm. Thankfully, I have my little fan here going, and life is good. So far, the rain has not been all that heavy. In fact, it looks like the majority of this went to the north, and it's about to stop raining for now. You know, everyone, I have to say, I like camping out in the summertime. Hot and humid. It's all about, for me, seeing like how comfortable can I be. This right here is a very inexpensive way to be comfortable. All you have to have is just a little bit of airflow and you can pull it off. That is storm number 1 that's come through. It'll be interesting to see whether or not we have more. As you all can see, The rain has stopped. The sun is out. It's back to being a beautiful day. I looked at the radar and we have a bunch of storms heading this way. As it stands right now, the temp is going back up. It is super muggy. Whew. Stifling is the word, I believe. So check this out, folks. I just received a phone call from my daughter. To be more specific, a phone call from my daughter and her boyfriend. They've been seeing each other for over a year now. They let me know that tomorrow they are doing the exact same thing that Susie and I did a long time ago. Oh my goodness. How about that? The first of my children to be married. Now, you may be wondering, is this a good idea? It is. They've been seeing each other for a long time. They're both in the military. She's in the Navy, and I can't talk about what he does. But essentially, it's along the same sort of thing, but there are some differences. They met in Germany, came back, and they got a place together. Then, let's see, he was deployed, came back. She was deployed and just recently got back. And now he is going to be deployed again. So they decided that now's the time. They want to get married. And I said, go for it. As long as you don't have any reservations at all, do it. If you have any reservations, don't do it. They claim to be in love with each other. He is a really nice guy. I met him recently, and I think it's going to work out. But you never know. They're both so young. You know, time changes people. It changes situations. Susie and I, we've made it work somehow. I mean, we were kids having kids, and now our kids are getting married and moving on with their lives and all that stuff. It's pretty crazy. But, you know, I spoke in the last couple of episodes. My mother, she recently passed away. And I mentioned in some video that my mom and my dad got divorced. It's interesting, they got divorced and then continued to live together for over 20 years. That sounds crazy, but it's not. There must be something in the water in my area, because that is not an uncommon thing. My neighbors lived together 45 years divorced. He passed away, I want to say 10 years ago, 12 years ago, something like that. And then she, the wife, she just recently passed away. The neighbors that I'm talking about are behind my house. The neighbors across the road on top of the hill, they've been divorced forever. Same situation. On the other side of the hill, he's been with his girlfriend forever. No desire to get married at all. So there's definitely something in the water there. Hey, if you can make it work, you make it work. I want to say in North Carolina, if you're like with someone for a certain amount of time, that's almost like a common law marriage sort of thing. I bet you on the books there's some sort of like super ridiculous law, you know? In North Carolina, we have some pretty ridiculous laws on the books that are, of course, not enforced. But anyways, folks, you guys are distracting me here. My daughter is getting married tomorrow. Wow, that's nuts. I love it. When you're young, you gotta get out there, you gotta live life, you gotta make good choices, and unfortunately along the way, you're gonna make bad choices. You can't listen to good advice when you're younger. You have to go through the motions, you have to learn along the way. It's one thing to hear it, and it's something else to experience it. And that's just how things go. We all have ways of justifying the things that we want. You can listen to advice, but still, that's what you want to do, you're going to do it, and then maybe down the road you'll be like, so-and-so was right about that, or dad was right. But still, they had to go through it, you have to go through it, you got to learn on your own. And I'm talking about general life events, things that you pick up along the way. Hopefully, you know, common sense goes hand in hand with advice, right? Don't touch the burner because it'll burn you, sort of thing. Hopefully you don't have to learn the hard way. But, yeah. pretty wild. I'm becoming an old man very, very quickly. It seems like it was just the other day that I was manipulating my daughter to join the military. When she was in her teenage years, she was hell on wheels. It was just chaos, and I knew that if she did not get out of this town, or the town we live in, she would be pregnant by the time she was like 19, possibly in trouble, right? I knew if I could just get her to focus on something, like the military, she would do well. She is that type of person, and she has excelled. And now she's a grown-up. She moved, well, she grew out of all of the nonsense, and now she has a good head on her shoulders. So, Maddie, this cheers is for you. To the boyfriend, I'm not going to mention his name on here, just because of what they do, military intelligence and all that stuff. But this cheers is for you too, buddy. Be good to each other. Eloping. It's what Susie and I did. And I have zero regrets. How much was my marriage? What does a marriage license cost? And then going to the courthouse? It's not much, I promise you that. You know, the thing is, we didn't have money. My family didn't have money for our wedding. And if there was money, we could have spent it in such a better way than having a big wedding. So, I support it 100%. I think it's cool. Just like that, everyone, the back of the 4Runner is ready for tonight. When it comes to the camping that I like to do, I like to keep it simple. And I also like to keep it as inexpensive as possible. You know, there's quite a few YouTube channels out there that do extreme car camping, overland camping. And what I mean by extreme is not necessarily in regards to the weather, but rather in regards to like the cost of their setups. And sometimes they brag about this stuff. A $10,000 tent, or a $20,000 travel trailer, or a $40,000 vehicle, so on and so forth. Those videos are certainly interesting, and I'm not throwing shade or anything like that, but I don't like that type of camping, really. If you have to bring a ton of furniture with you and a projector TV, you might as well just stay home. For me, when I get out into the outdoors, it's not about plugging in a projector. It's about this. Listening to the birds. Sometimes you're just sitting still. You're not doing anything. And when you do that, certain things, certain movements will catch your attention. And it might be a bug, something crawling across the ground, something flying by. But for me, that's what camping is all about. Now, I will say, those extreme videos, they're interesting. There's no doubt about it. Like a $100,000 setup, that sort of thing. Anyways, when it comes to my setups, I like to keep them very, very simple. And this entire setup, it is certainly simple. To elaborate on that, I like to do setups that make sense for the everyday average individual. Camping trips that you can do. To me, that makes sense. That's the type of camping that I like to do, and that's what this channel is all about. The setups, they're not extreme. Sometimes the weather is, but that's real life. This might be a good one, everyone. It is very, very dark. Rain is right around the corner. I just noticed the forest is incredibly silent. Nothing's making a peep except for the wind and the thunder. Here comes the rain, everyone. Oftentimes I try to film outside of the tent when it's storming, but there's too much thunder and lightning with this storm. I do not want to get struck by lightning, that's for sure. This is going to be a vicious storm. Let's go, everybody. It is absolutely pouring out there, but yet we're staying dry. This is awesome. As an update, everyone, heavy rain is falling now. Everything is flooded. A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for this area. It is non-stop thunder and lightning. The amount of water that's everywhere is unbelievable. We are right in the bullseye. There's an entire wave of storms coming this way. This is just part one. There are some nasty looking storms heading this direction, everybody. This is not about to let up anytime soon. I'm really concerned about that driveway down at the bottom. There's nothing I can do about it, but some of the lightning strikes up here have been crazy close. It may not come through on camera very well, but this is a very intense situation. So far, everyone, this tent is doing exactly what I planned for it to do. We're in the middle of a knockdown thunderstorm. It's hot as hell, humid as hell, and the airflow through this is awesome. Woo! What a storm! This is incredible. The lightning, unbelievable. Kind of scary too. It's one of those things, everyone, if you're going to go camping, this is going to happen. If you've ever wondered what living in a rainforest is like, here you go. Non-stop rain, non-stop storms. If you're new to the channel and you've seen a few videos, you've noticed that it's usually raining. It's not because I'm picking to go out in the rain, or I'm choosing to, I mean. It's always raining. That's how it is here. On average, about 100 inches of rain per year. As far as the time goes, it's about 7:30. It continues to rain. Thankfully, not as heavy as it was when this all started. That was flooding rain there. This is a good soaking rain. There is a big difference. It sounds like the majority of the thunder and lightning is now to our east. It is update time, everyone. It's been about 30 minutes since I filmed last. As you can hear, it's still storming, still raining. This has been a very intense weather system, that's for sure. Luckily, this tent has done a fantastic job. I mean, it really has. It's amazing to me that this Japanese tent is less than 400 bucks. It's like 360 or something like that. That's what I paid for it, right around there. And this thing is huge. Heavy rain has returned. We are about to get hit good again. Heavy, 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 heavy rain is falling right now. I can't say that I don't love it, because I do. The severe thunderstorm watch has ended, and a flash flood warning has been issued. It says at 8:07, it is now 8:14, local law enforcement reported flash flooding in the western part of blank county, where a road was washed away. Between 3.5 to 5 inches of rain has fallen. Flash flooding is already occurring. It does look like the rain is moving out. It's still possible that we'll get some more rain later on tonight, but based upon what I'm seeing on the radar, the brunt of all of this is now over. That was an incredible storm. I mean, it really was. Everyone, this is awesome. So, we have some buttery mashed potatoes, chicken barbecue that was cooked with hickory barbecue sauce. On top of that, we have some crispy onions. On top of that, we have some white barbecue sauce. And this is an amazing combo. More than likely, Susie had a salad for dinner. I'm having this. She's going to live longer than me, but that's okay because I have this. It is that freaking good. That is awesome. You know, everyone, as far as gear goes, The star of the trip is not this tent, even though it protected me. It is this little fan right here. This has made today possible. All you need in warm conditions is just a little bit of airflow, and it makes all the difference. And that little fan that costs less than 25 bucks has made all the difference in the world. Hooked up to a small power bank like this, it'll run and run and run. It's amazing. With my daughter getting married tomorrow, it takes me back to when I got married, when I married Susie. We were both just kids. I was 19, she was 18. We went to the courthouse, and only my grandma went with us. The rest of the family did not come. They did not think it was a good idea because we were so young. But Susie and I, we loved each other. My grandma was the only one to come. I don't remember what it cost, but it was cheap. And my grandmother gave me, or gave us, $20 to go out to eat. I'm assuming we went out to like McDonald's or something like that. My grandmother was poor. We were dirt poor. And we were happy to have it, happy to have each other. So my grandmother, she bought us dinner. And Susie and I, we are going to buy Madison and her husband dinner too. Dinner cost us 20 bucks. I bet it's going to cost them, who knows, 150 based upon where they live, their lifestyle and whatnot. Times have changed, that's for sure. A few years ago, I was visiting my mother and my father, and they said they had something serious to talk to me about. And they sat me down. We were drinking coffee, of course, and they both apologized to me for not being there at Susie and I's wedding. It's funny, I could just barely remember that wedding. And I was like, guys, you didn't miss anything. Plus, Susie and I were young and dumb, and somehow we made it work. No hard feelings. I completely understand their perspective on all of that, because they cared. It makes sense. I did accept their apology, though. If you're married, what type of wedding did you have? Did anybody elope? Shotgun wedding, traditional wedding, do anything like super crazy, extravagant? When I was a kid, I remember my uncle talking about his marriage to my aunt. They got married at the Taj Mahal. Her family paid for it. They spent a fortune. And I remember, even as a kid, it just stuck with me. He wishes they never did that, because the amount of money that was spent on that wedding could have altered the trajectory of their life. It was that much. It was so much money. And of course, we're talking about poor country people, hard workers, still poor. That was back in the 80s. Naturally, there's not a right way or a wrong way to get married. You do what you want, right? Two things before I shut off the camera and finish up dinner. One, it's raining again. It's light, but it's raining. And two, there are some fireflies out. Not many, but there's a few. Still just a little bit early for this area for fireflies. They like to come out mid-July towards August. Up here at least. We have the yellow fireflies here, but there is one place in North Carolina, and I want to say it's the only place in the world that has blue fireflies. They are incredible. I mean, it's like, I don't even know how to describe it, to be honest. It is just simply amazing to see them. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's a little bit after 5 o'clock. As you all can hear, as you've noticed, it's raining. It started around 2:30 or so, and it's been raining ever since. No thunderstorms, nothing like that, just steady rain. I slept really good last night. The rain on the roof, the back of the 4Runner, super comfortable. I had 2 fans set up. One blowing at my feet, the other was blowing at my face and my chest. Oh yeah, slept good. The system that I have there is very simple, but it works, and it works really, really well. As for the morning, it's humid, incredibly humid. Not terribly uncomfortable, but at the same time, not comfortable either. Luckily, after today, we're supposed to have a dry period. They're calling for 2 days of dry weather, lower humidity, so that's good. I'm really looking forward to that. I gotta come back out here. I have to mow everything up. And I will have to do something about the road here. I ended up walking this yesterday after the heaviest of the rain came, and the road's in pretty rough shape. I'm gonna have to invest, I don't know, $5,000 maybe worth of gravel and equipment to fix everything. I've had this property for almost 10 years, everybody, and this is the worst that I've seen that driveway. Even after Hurricane Helene, which dropped 26 inches of rain in like 12 hours, the road was fine. Some afternoon thunderstorm has come through and has torn it up. That's crazy. If you have a gravel driveway in this area, at some point in time, you're gonna lose it. It's just how it goes. Luckily, the road here, it's not destroyed, but it just needs lots and lots of work. All of the culverts, and there are 4, they've remained open. They've been doing their job. It could definitely be worse, that's for sure. It is pouring out there, everyone. that's okay. It's a great way to wrap up this trip in the rain. As soon as the sun comes up, I'm bouncing out of here. I have a whole bunch of work to do today. I gotta go home. Hopefully it'll dry out. I need to do some mowing there too, cut back some bushes and all that stuff. It's funny, the older you get, it seems like the less time you have, right? Just super busy all the time. There's no time for anything else. Or at least that's how it seems to me. What do you all think? Comment down below. We might as well check out the radar since it's raining so hard at the moment. It's funny, on the radar it shows light rain and it looks like it's about to end too. So according to this, that is light rain. Ever so often, there's a breeze coming through that is incredible. It's crazy to think we are only a few months away from fall. The grow season will stop, no more mowing. Add another month to that, possibly snow. Yeah, it's crazy. How the time passes by and the seasons change very quickly. Briefly in last week's adventure, I spoke about the US used those bunker busting bombs to hit those nuclear facilities there. I want to say they dropped like 14 of those. It's pretty interesting, or at least I find it interesting. The United States is the only country in the world that has these type of bombs. And there's only one plane in the world, one bomber, that can carry these because they're so big and so heavy. These bombs weigh 13 and a half tons. And they are over 20 feet long. They penetrate the ground, the earth, through rock, and they go down roughly 200 feet and then detonate. Talking about interesting bombs, I don't know if you've ever heard of a graphite bomb or a graphene bomb. It's the same thing. It's a really interesting technology that's only been rarely used, these bombs. So what these are designed to do is to knock out power in large scale areas, right? So they've only been used a handful of times, and I'll talk about that in a second. But basically what they do, and there's different variations. The United States has a variant where the bomb goes in, it deploys, and it sends out like spools of very fine graphite, and then it detonates. And all of that graphite turns into a powder. Graphite is an excellent conductor. So basically what it does, it shorts out electrical systems. Substations, power stations, power lines, so on and so forth. They can detonate these over large-scale areas and totally knock out the power. These graphite bombs, they're also known as blackout bombs. You likely didn't know this, but in the 1991 Gulf War, the United States used these bombs in Iraq to knock out roughly 85% of the power across the country. Concerning these bombs, that is all that I know about them, and the truth is, that's pretty much all that's known about them. There's a whole lot more to these weapons than what I'm stating here, but they're highly classified. In fact, a Pentagon spokesperson said there's certain weapons that we do not believe it's appropriate to talk about. This is one of them. It's highly classified, and it's not a weapon that we choose to discuss publicly. That's interesting. Everyone, thank you all so much for joining me for this trip. I really do appreciate it. I hope you all have had a great time. For myself, it's been hot, it's been humid, I have sweated a ton. But luckily, this shelter here, it has kept me safe, kept me dry. The little fan that I have, priceless. The most valuable item of all time, you know? As I mentioned before, when camping in hot conditions, all you need is just a little bit of airflow, a little bit of movement of air, and it makes all the difference in the world. You can camp out when it's 80 degrees or 100, as long as you have airflow. If you had a good time on this adventure, please hit the thumbs up. It's a great way to support this channel. If you want to join the Wolf Pack, you can do so on Patreon and here on YouTube. Oh yeah. Make sure to check out my second YouTube channel, A Quiet Place Adventures. There's a brand new adventure there every single Monday. Folks, I appreciate you all. Take care, be safe, strength and honor. See you next week.